so this one is in a drop D tuning. So we want to drop that open E to our D string. Okay, and it's based on the live version, CalJam 74. You can find on YouTube. And I just love that version. I think it's really, really well done. And, you know, he makes it look really easy because he's picking, you know, his picking is perfect. He doesn't miss a note. And his singing is just, I just think it's a really great performance. And if you watch him play it nowadays live, he doesn't play it anywhere near like that. You know, it's nowhere near as intricate. He's just basically playing those chords, you know. He's not adding any of that nice arpeggiated picking. And in the old ELP stuff, you know, arpeggios is kind of what he's all about. He arpeggiates pretty well everything. Anyways, let's get into it. So we're going to start down here. I mean, this is where I started it. On this, it's a D minor 7, add 4 basically, right? So you've got open E, open A. Well, the open E is a D, right? Because it's drop D. So open D, A string, and then we got D3 to give you your F note. It's like D minor. We've got open G, which is your sus4. And then we've got the C note on B2, which is your minor 7th. And then the G note here on E3, which is, you know, the sus4 again, right? Okay, and he just does this, which is open E, open A, and then the D string, and then the G, B, and E together. Okay, then he goes just open G and the F note on D3, and then we're into the G chord, which is just E5 and A5, open D, open G, open B, right? And the way he picks that is he goes the first 3 strings and then up to the B. Okay, B, G, D, B, D. Okay, and playing this open D is really key to this song, okay? Because when you play that open D, it gives you time to get to the next chord. Right? So I can, as soon as I hit that open D, I can move down here to this D minor 7. Okay, and then we go like this. It's the first time he goes like that. Okay, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 4 strings, and then the B and the E string together, and then the F and the open G. Okay, then we're back into this. And that's kind of the main pattern there. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then start on the E string, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But the thing is, when you get to that F note, you don't play the F note, you play the open D again. Okay, and you know, you'll see a lot of guys play this and they'll try and hit that F note, and then they gotta jump, you know. You know, which you really can't do. So if you hit the open D, it gives you time to get back up here, okay? So slowly. Okay, and that goes a couple of times. And the last time, when he goes to the G, instead of going, going to go. So we're going to fret here on B3 and E3, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back 4 from the E to the open D, right? And then we play that D minor 7 twice. Okay. So that whole intro, I'll play it real slow. Okay, and that's the first section. And when you're going from there to there, you know, keeping that open G is so important. Because if you snub that, you know, if you don't fret that F properly and you mute that G, you know, to me that's kind of, you know, super crucial, right? So you got to make sure you're coming down on the frets and get that open G. Okay, so that's something you're going to have to work on to get that good. Okay, so anyways, we finish up that first part by going. Okay, so then we get into the next section, which starts on this chord, which is A2, D3, G2, and B3 and open E. And you'll recognize this chord. If you looked at my from the beginning video, you'll recognize that chord. It's the same fingering, although because it's in a different key and we have the drop D now, it actually winds up being a B minor 7 with that flat 5th and that open E, which is the 4th, so sus4. Okay, so B minor 7 flat 5, add 4. Okay, it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, if you're into the theory, you'll find that interesting, but, you know, just do this, right, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to pluck it like this, just straight down and back. Now we're going to drop that first finger down to here, down to A1, which is the B flat, which, again, that chord would be a B flat major 7 with a flat 5, okay? That's your B flat major 7. And we've got the flat 5 there, right? So, you know, you've got the actual 5th there, but then you got the flat 5 here. So again, you've got a lot of dissonance in all these chords. There's a lot of dissonance, but, you know, the way they're put together, they just sound awesome. They're great chords. Okay, so we got this. Drop the first finger. Same picking. Now we're going to let go of the third finger and the second finger. Same picking, right? And then we're going to go A minor. Okay, and then D. Finishing off with that lick. Okay, so from here, take off your third and your second, A minor, which is A string, D string, G string, B string, D. And then we're going to do this. Okay, ending with that. Okay, which is like a D, but up here. And when you go to do that, don't keep that middle finger on there, because it'll make that stretch absolute killer. Just take that middle finger off, and getting to that 8th string will be a piece of cake. Okay? And when you get to this A note now, or the A minor, like, don't have those strings ringing. Okay? When you hit that A note, want everything to be dead there except the open A. Okay? And that's it. That's your first section. Okay? So let's just play that whole thing sort of semi up to speed here, a little bit slower. So we're going to start on that D minor 7 add 4, right? So okay, so now the next section, we're going to start here, which, it's just an awesome chord. This next bit is so oriental sort of sounding, you know. And what that is an F chord with the 6th. That open D, or the D is the 6th, right? That would be like an F. But you add the open D, and you get F6, right? It gives you that kind of, you know, really kind of airy feeling. And the way he's going to pick that is like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Forward 4, back 4 from the high E, right? Okay, and I should have mentioned this before, but you know, there's different ways you can pick this going forward and backward, and you can either just pick it like, individual note, or you can go, you know, where you, when you pick the first one, your string is resting on the next one, right? Okay, now some guys will find that easy to do, other guys will find that harder to do. For me, I don't do that because I find it really hard to get the timing right by like that. I just pick them individually. So, you know, figure out which way works best for you and do it, right? But anyway, so here we go. Okay, and then we're going to go. Okay, so basically we've got, it's like a D minor, right? And use your little finger here. Okay, don't use your third finger, use your little finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go. Okay, and that might be tricky for some people because, like, I can bend my little finger at that first joint so I can get both those notes. And this is how he does it in the video too, right? Other people may need to go. Okay, so you'll have to figure out what's best for you there, but I'm going to teach it this way. Okay, so it's a hammer on that last one. So, right, so it's hammer, and then pluck every one, okay? And then we're going to come here, keep our little finger there on the D and the E string, and put our first finger on A1. Okay, and that's like that would be like a B flat minor. Okay, and we just go down and back. And then we go to this A sus4, and by taking our little finger off of the A1 and putting it on D2. And leave our little finger there. Okay, and then the last chord is little finger on E3, second finger on B2 to get the A sus4, A7 sus4. Okay, so let's do that whole bit, starting with that first chord, the F add 6. Okay, now we're to the D minor. Now we're going to be here. Okay, and then we're going to get into this D minor lick. And again, use your little finger on B3. We're going to go like this. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the B and the E string together. And then take your first finger off. E string, B string, G string. And when we hit this chord, the first time we're on that G2, the A note, right? The second time we're on the open G, okay? And again, that's going to give us a nice ringing note to get our first finger down here to A1 to form the next chord, okay? Which is just A1 and B3. So we've got this. Right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4 from the A string. And then third finger on A3, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, so, and then we're back to this, open G, right, and we just repeat that a bunch of times, okay, so coming out of this, we're here. Okay, now little finger there, remember? Open G. End it like that. Now the live version, he's hitting that B and E together, but in the studio version he's just hitting single notes. Right. Okay, so figure out which way you want to do, which way sounds best. I think if you're playing the solo, hitting the 2 notes sounds better. Okay, and we're going to end that by going like this. Right? And then we get into the really cool chord. It's this chord here. It's an E flat major 7. Okay, and the way we're going to pick that is we're going to hybrid pick it. So we're going to use our pick on that low E, and we're going to use our second finger on the open G, and our third finger on the B string, on B3, right? And we're going to go like this. Okay, and what's really cool is when you end this, we've got strings ringing there, right? Right? It just sounds really good to go from there. And then we're going to get into this rhythmic section, which comes up here to G12. And he's playing this on a 12 string, right? So that G string is doubled an octave higher. So it's getting, you know, you're going to get quite a bit of different sound, especially in this section, because all he's doing is going like this. Right? He's just taking off that finger and going with the open note, right? So it's downstroke and then upstroke on the G string, from the G string. Right? But what I did when I played it was I just came up here. So, you know, we're getting that octave there. You could also get that octave here on B8 and go. Okay. Or here. It really doesn't make that big a difference there. And then the second time round, I just kind of threw this harmony in, where I'm going to bar here now on G10, B10, and I'm going to backstroke from the B string now, and I'm going to come up here to B13 and G12. I just threw that in because I thought it sounded kind of good, but you know, you could just stay here, right? Although I do think I hear that note sometimes. So, you know, you can figure out whatever you want to do there and just do what you think sounds best. I like that. And then we're back into this. Okay, and now the first verse ends on this chord, which is a C add 9. It's like a C5 with a ninth, right? And the same thing, you want to use your pick on that A string, and your second finger on the G, third finger on the B, on B3, right? Okay, and then he, you know, he gets back into the second verse, and he does the whole thing again, exactly the same. And then instead of ending on that, the ending chord is this. It's just like a D minor, but open E instead. Okay, so just open, 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 G2, B3. Okay, so that last sequence then would be, let me see, what I do is when I play that part, I try to move my hand closer to the front of the sound hole to get that more mellow sound, right? So, like most of the time on the back of the sound hole, right? And then back here. Again. Then the C, and the last chord. Okay, and that's it. That's the song. Like I said before, it makes it look easy, but it's actually really tricky to to get all that picking and stay in time and be, you know, even on the notes and not rush and not snub that G string, you know. So there's a lot of little things that you'll have to work on to get this, but once you do get it, you know, it really sounds nice, right? And on a 12 string it would sound really good because of all those open strings. Anyways, I hope you get something out of the lesson. Hope you enjoy playing the song, and we'll talk to you next time.